Well, carp have been in this country since, about the 1870s. They're originally from Asia, but then they were stocked into Europe centuries ago. In fact, even Aristotle, back 350 BC, talked about them. So they've been around a long time. And they've been in this country since, as I said, about the 1870s, when this fisheries workers in this country were really stocking them and very much promoting them. The size ranges up to 60 pounds in some cases, but the record here is about 32 pounds. So they are a pretty big fish. And although we don't consider them a game fish, we might consider them a gamey fish because they are a strong fighter, as many people will attest to. If you hook them on rod and reel, catching them with dough balls for bait, or worms, or cheese, or marshmallows, or corn. Lots of different things you can use, and they are a very strong fighter.
One man that strongly believes in the sport of carp fishing is John Barrett. John has been catching carp for several years and has developed techniques that work well for his friends and him. Today, John is fishing with his longtime fishing buddy Wayne Ledbetter on the North Canadian River in central Oklahoma.
They ought to be a lot of fun. Just about like people, they just bite when they're hungry. But surely we got what they want. There's some bait for you. Okay. And we'll just see if this old bait still works. I just don't know about these fish sometimes, but so far, they've always been hungry.
I've still got...
Oh, that's a nice place. There ought to be one sitting there just waiting to grab that line and go. Now, I'm going to put this other line in. I don't know if I can handle it or not, but I'm going to give it a try. You remember old Ben used to fish with us a long time ago?
Yeah, sure do.
He used to say that if you use two lines, they'd take turn of biting. When one would bite, the other would say, okay, it's my turn. Then he'd quit on that line and the other one would bite. Well, looky there.
You get a pull already?
Looks like I've got one trying to find my bait. I'll just throw that other one in and we'll just see which one of them finds it first. You remember whenever after we bait it up, we always dip the bait in the water and then bring it back out in the air?
Uh-huh.
That makes a slick coating on it so that when the fish picks it up, it kind of drops it and your line goes slack and you know that he's going to bite that bait. Now your line goes out and you just reel it up until the bait starts to move. Then you set your rod down on a rest of some kind. Well, your line will settle in the water. Then whenever that fish picks that bait up...
John!
Yes?
Oh, man!
Hey, you got one! Don't horse him. Keep your rod tip high. Keep it up above your head. Let him come to you. When he goes away, you hold. When he comes to you, you reel. In the meantime, I'll bait up my other line. Get him on out of there. That's a boy. You talk about a #1 carp fisherman, you are one.
I'll tell you, that was a nice little pull, too.
I brought this fish basket along because I figured we might need it.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Get him away from that water because we don't want to lose that one. I bet there's as much meat on him as there is a Jersey bull. You want me to bring the basket
Well, I'll
to
tell
you?
you, that dude's
You might drop him now. You gotta hold on to them things. I saw old Ben one time drop one 3 times before he got it in the basket.
Well, if I can get a hold of this one.
You got him now with both hands. Just go ahead and bring him to the basket. Oh, you hadn't got the...
No, I don't even have the hook out.
I see.
If I'd had the hook out, I'd lost him.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're sure strong.
Okay.
They're strong.
That dude sure...
I noticed you put him in the basket head first so his fins wouldn't hang on the basket and he'd have a chance to flip out.
Well, I'll tell you, that thing sure worked on me.
Well, they're strong. I know one thing, the excitement on those big ones sure makes me out of breath.
Whew. Okay.
When I check my bait, I always jerk my rod like there's one sitting there with it in his mouth, sleeping. but he was awake.
Well, let's see if there's another one.
John and Wayne were on their way to a good day of fishing action, but there was some preparation involved before they wet a line. Earlier, John shared his successful dough bait recipe with us.
First, you take the bread out of the sack. I pull the hard crust off the top because it's baked hard and it doesn't pick up the flavoring. Then you crumble the bread, and you crumble it up as fine as you can. After you crumble it up, you take your vanilla flavoring. Now, this is not extract. Extract has alcohol, and extract changes the flavor of the dough bait. Then you swish it around a little bit, just kind of to wet the bread and kind of get the feel of the dough so that you know whether you need a little more or not. Then you reach and get your peanut butter, a big old glob, put it in there, and you squeeze it between your fingers. Now, this would be an awful gooey mess whenever you squeeze it, but every bit of that peanut butter will come off your hands, and you mix it until your hands get clean. You use the dough to clean your bucket. It pulls it off the sides of the bucket just like using a sponge. And after you get it all off the side of the bucket, then to smooth out your bait, you just simply set your bucket down, dab your bait on your hands to get the rest of the peanut butter, and then you mix it just much like mixing bread dough so that you kind of get a real smooth mixture. Now, the thickness and the stiffness of this bait depends on the person using it. Some people like a stiffer bait, some people like a soft bait. I like about a medium bait. However, in the wintertime, whenever the water's cold, you want your bait a little softer because when it hits the water, it will harden a little bit. If you get it too hard, however, when the fish picks it up, it will split, just like that split. And that's all there is to mixing the dough bait. See how easy? But you got to be careful because people who like peanut butter will sure eat the bait. Oh, I got a goodie. I got a goodie.
You need the net?
I don't know. He's staying down. And he is carp. I don't think this one's going though. I think that he just ran into the other line. But he is a good one. I'll have to just wait till he rolls and see what I got. He's like that old big bear in the backyard. He goes anywhere he wants to.
I think he's worth the net. There he is. He's big.
Oh yeah, he's a nice.
He's nice.
Oh yeah,
nice.
He'll go for. Put it down in the water. Let me bring it over.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll go for. Now let's worry about getting the lines untangled. Just leave them like they are for a minute. Let me get this one out first. I believe he might go 5. Look at that. Look at that. I didn't even want to have him there.
Yeah, I know it.
Goodness sakes. I'll bring the basket. We're not going to take
I'm going to set that thing right there and
let me worry with it, huh?
Yeah, and go back to my deal here.
I believe he might go 5. Well, he curls up when he's in that basket.
Well, I had a sleeper on, John. Look at there. Oh, lost that one too. My goodness.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, your other line's all tangled up in this one, or else that's all my line. I hope it's all mine.
No, it's all your line.
Good. Well, Wayne, it's beginning to rain.
Well,
and you know we got a pretty good mess of fish.
I just put fresh bait on though. I want to work this bait first.
Okay. You know, I know that we can fish in the rain because the fish don't mind getting wet.